Hello, I'm Rachel from Douentza Garden in Ireland, and I've been plant shopping again. This time I've been buying late flowering perennials to add to my flower borders, and I've a couple here that I want to share with you. So let's have a look at what I got. And you are very welcome to the video. If you're new to the channel, hello, glad you could make it, and hopefully there'll be lots here about gardening to detain you. Okay, so what did I get? And the first thing I want to share with you today is this beautiful toad lily. Now let's see if I can show you up close. In any case, toad lilies are wonderful plants that flower late in the season, and some of them take full sun, but mostly I think they're ones that like a bit of dappled shade. And this one completely melted my heart when I saw those beautiful pink and white flowers yesterday at the nursery, or 2 days ago. In any case, I had to get my hands on one of these because I've grown toad lilies in the past and always stuck them in between things where they don't really have enough space to shine. But just recently I cleared a shady border, the one where you saw me plant hydrangea Annabelle, and there's lots of space for little beauties that appreciate dappled shade like this toad lily. And the flowers, they're so delicate. Many people think they look like orchids. I'm not so sure, but they're fabulous anyway. Okay, so that's going in the shady area, and perhaps if I just share with you first the things that are going in that shady spot, then we can move on to the sun lovers. And the second thing is this Cattleya. Now, I mentioned orchids, and for anybody who is an orchid lover out there, this is not Cattleya, which is a tropical orchid. This is Cattleya, which is in the ginger family, which you can probably tell from the shape of the leaves, and is closely related to Roscoa, which is a type of hardy ginger that I grow in the garden. Now, normally when you buy Cattleya in Ireland, it's Cattleya spicata, and that's generally perceived to be the hardiest one. But this one here is different. This is Cattleya Graceless, and I am going to put this in the shady spot I mentioned a little bit earlier. It has graceful spires of yellow and red ginger-like flowers in late summer, and I think mine are finished now. They're just going over. But you know, when things are in pots, they can finish or start a little earlier than they would when they're in the soil. So we'll look forward to planting this in the dappled shade area and see how it does over time. And yeah. Okay, so what else for the shady area? Yay! Oh yeah. Brunnera. And Brunneras are fantastic plants for their leaves. You grow them chiefly for their leaves, for these big white leaves that can contrast very well with hostas or other shade-loving plants. And the great thing about Brunneras is that they produce sprays of blue flowers early on in the season. Flowers that look very much like forget-me-nots, but of course this plant doesn't have any of the negative traits that forget-me-nots have, like spreading like bilio and kind of taking over an area. This is one that's chiefly grown for the leaves, and we shall find a nice spot in there in the dappled area together with the snowdrops that are already in situ. Okay, now it's time to move on to the sun-loving plants, and you can see several of them here beside me, and I went for colour. I went for height and I went for colour. And the first thing I want to tell you about is this white guy here, and this, as you may have already guessed, is a Thalictrum, and it's Thalictrum davidii, which is the one I grow from seed in the border. Earlier on in the season I bought another version of this, the Hewitt's Double, which is blue, but this one is white, and I think it's just really, really graceful, and it's nice to have kind of like a pure white out there in the border at this time of the year when everything's just beginning to get that little bit autumny, and this says freshness and cleanness, and it's just wonderful. And of course, being a thalictrum, it produces these tall spires that are very much see-through, so you can place them at the front of the border or anywhere you like in the border, probably the front of the border, and they don't block your view of the plants behind. So a wonderful, wonderful plant. Okay, so the next one I got is a monkshood, and this guy here is the monkshood, and it is in flower, but the plant also has plenty of branches down here, so there are lots more flowers to come. And monkshood, there are various types of monkshood out there, most of which flower early in the season or in mid-season, but this guy is the one that's always late to the party and so welcome when you see those deep inky blue spires coming up in your garden. And what a gorgeous plant to place with other late flowering plants. Like, see how good it looks there with the white thalictrum? Absolutely fantastic. You need something, because it's such a dark colour, you do need something bright to kind of like lift it up a bit, but very elegant. And the hoods, I think, on this are bigger than any other monk's hood that I actually have in the garden, so yay! Very happy with that. This one I actually grew for years and eventually lost. It just got squeezed out, which is a common problem in my garden because it's a mature garden, and unless you're really on top of the lifting and dividing, you do lose plants. So I'm delighted to have this back again. Okay, next up, two more plants to show you, and the next one here is a lobelia. Haha. And this is a hardy lobelia. You may know Lobelia cardinalis Queen Victoria, and in fact this is a Lobelia cardinalis, but it's called Elm Sphere. So it's like Lobelia Queen Victoria, but on steroids, because this is a big boy with beautiful purple leaves, dark leaves that are as much a feature as the blood red flowers. But the blood red flowers are really fantastic, and I love the shape of lobelia flowers. All lobelias, absolutely mad about lobelias, but these ones are just gorgeous, really gorgeous. And the only thing about this lobelia is that it does like its moisture. It likes almost bog-like conditions. So this is a bit of a gamble for me because I don't have those conditions to offer it here in this garden. But I'm going to try it again because it's a lovely plant. I mean, how could you not try that? And look how gorgeous it looks against the aconite. Such a contrast. Okay. Final plant that I want to show you in my haul. Oh, I forgot to mention, where did I buy these plants? I bought all of these plants from a nursery outside Dublin called Mount Venus. And if you're in the area of South Dublin, then I highly recommend a visit to Mount Venus, especially since they have a sale on at this time of year, starting in a week or so, I believe. But check their website. Anyway, Mount Venus, a wonderful place for really well-grown plants. And this next one that I want to share with you is so tall. So this is on the ground, right? And you can't see the flowers because they're up over my head. Okay, so I'm just gonna angle it down like this. And this is a Rudbeckia, I Herbstone, I think. I'm putting all the names up on the screen as usual, but look. And really this end of the year is the time when Rudbeckias shine. And when I say shine, I mean that really quite literally, because if you have any Rudbeckias in your border, especially the yellow ones, they are the central focus of attention. And the yellow ones, it's like having a sun in there. Now this one I really love because it's extra tall, although I'm not sure, I probably need to stake it. But what I love is the cones at the centre of the flowers, the way they're elongated and poke up, and I think that's just so much more attractive a feature than just like the daisy-like flowers with the flat centre. So I will look forward to finding somewhere nice to plant this, and go on to see it bulk up and do amazing things at this end of the year. Now, I have been busy. I've been working on my long border, and you will recall that 2 or 3 years ago I completely revamped one section of it and lifted up all the plants, divided, got rid of and replanted, and it has looked amazing since then. Well, this year is the time to work on the other arm of the long border, and I've been getting rid of things that really have passed their sell-by date. And when any of us start off with a new border, unless you're really rich and flush, you just don't have enough plants to put in it. So you need to plant what you can get. And in this border here, I planted a lot of daylilies that just weren't really good. They didn't flower well, but they did bulk up, and some really bad red hot pokers with yucky foliage, and I'm delighted to take these out and make a bit of space for the good stuff. That is the plan, to have just the good stuff in my borders going forward. None of this, oh well, somebody gave it to me and it's too much trouble to take it out. I am going to take the trouble. I'm going to take out anything like that and make sure that wherever you look in the border, there's something interesting and beautiful to see that you will believe was purposely placed there, because it will have been. So I guess that kind of brings me to the end of the video, but do you see the bee who is just alighted there at the very end of my Rudbeckia? So he likes it as well. He votes for the Rudbeckia. I hope you enjoyed this video on late flowering perennials, and if you spot some of these in your area, perhaps you'll consider buying them for your border as well. If you have other ones to recommend to me, please do let me know, because I'm always on the lookout for good plants. And with that, I will tell you happy gardening, wish you happy gardening, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.